Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome to our another edition of our Business Spotlight podcast here at Action Coach Northwest. And our guest today is Aaron Dawson, CEO and President of Opsahl Dawson CPA firm. Well, thanks for being here, Aaron. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Ted, thanks for having me. This is kind of fun, wake up on a Wednesday and get a chance to hang out with you for a while. Thanks a lot for having me. I'm looking forward to our little talk here and we can pick each other's brains. So it's going to be fun.
There you go. There you go. Looking forward to it. So you got kind of some unique things I wanted to point out to our audience today. Uh, 9 CPAs in your family, so that's a little scary, but whatever. Seems to work, right? And so you've been 16 years as the head of this firm, and you've gone from 1.5 million in revenue and about 20 employees to 42 million and 180 employees. So that's amazing growth. So I can't wait to hear your insights. I mean, that's pretty stellar. And you were also voted the fastest growing firm by Accounting Today, or third fastest growing firm by Accounting Today here in the United States. And you got 4 locations. You cover kind of the Western Washington, Vancouver, Longview, Kelso, Lacey, and Bellevue. So there you go. So there, people, now you know a little bit more about Aaron. So let's jump right into the questions here and learn some more. Okay, so first question, if you had to start from square one in business, what would you do differently?
Yeah, hi Ted, thanks. Well, that's kind of a tough one because I've been having so much fun over the last 16 years. It's kind of I was sitting there thinking last night, what would I do different? And I had a hard time coming up with a great answer. We've had a lot of success. We've treated people really well. We've developed a really great name in the communities that we're in. We've become leaders of our profession and our industry. So I started thinking about it. I thought a fun answer might be golf. I think that I needed to work better on my golf game. That does play a pretty good role in networking and in the community. I've got a business partner that him and I have been friends a long time, Matt Lee. He's a good golfer, and he kind of explains my golf game as golf spelled backwards, flog. So I don't know, I don't really like that too much, but we have a good time with each other. He also says that I stand too close to the ball. Of course, after I hit it, ball's not going far enough. But I think, joking aside, I think if somebody said, if you went back sooner, I'd have probably taken golf a little more seriously. I have fun with it, but I think it does play a pretty good place in business. So our firm's won a lot of growth awards, as you kind of talked about there. There's a lot of great things that we've done in business, and I'm a builder. One of the things that I think I would have done a little different is I would have had a bigger BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. I would have set big goals for what I had accomplished in the firm, and gladly we have accomplished a lot of those. So I think that's a tough answer to that question. I think we've accomplished a
Yeah,
lot. So I don't know if I'd change a thing other than
yeah.
golf.
I love the golf analogy. You can learn a lot from playing the game of golf. You really can. And you can learn a lot from playing around a golf with somebody about them. I've noticed that over the years too. So of course you know this, but anyway, okay. Next question: what have your biggest learnings been as an employer since you began in business?
Yeah, that's always a fun one. I would say that I've learned to work on the business and not in the business. So as a leader, I've had to hand off some of my duties of our clientele and some of the ways that we serve the public to people, our employees that we've trained, that we've attracted, because I found out that the firm needs a leader, and a lot of times business owners treat their business the worst. They give all their energy to all their clients and their customers, but somebody has to be taking care of the business. So for us, I gravitated towards enjoying working on the business and not in the business. And that caused me to train, 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 delegate, delegate, delegate. So I always ask myself, if I'm doing something that somebody else should do, shame on me, because I should be building a team. And if I'm doing that, whatever it was that I was doing, I was stealing an opportunity for somebody else to learn what I knew. So I'm big on handing down our knowledge to the next generation and making sure that the firm has a healthy, uh, forward-looking group of leaders, and that takes me making sure I'm passing my knowledge down. So again, the servant leadership has been a big thing for us. I've always made sure that I'm here to serve our employees, give them the best tools, give them the best training, and whatever they need. If I take good care of our employees, they're going to take good care of our customers and our clients. And maybe one last thing that I learned is, as a leader, there's going to be times where you're stressed out and you're feeling impatient. I've learned to conceal that. I've learned to keep that inside, because if your employees see you lash out or show your impatience or your dislike for something that happened, you really need to be that servant leader. You need to be that caretaker of your employees. They look to you as a leader. I think you only get one time to show your bad side, and I think then your employees might be a little afraid of you. So I would just say to those leaders, like, just try to do it as professional as you can, and know that your employees are there to help and they're trying their best every day. So really, really be there to coach them, support them.
Wow. Wow. Music to my ears. I love all that. Work on it, not in it. Love it. Love it. All right. What are some common misconceptions about running a business, and how do you address them?
One of the common misperceptions that I would say is people think you're kind of alone. You know, I'm running my business. I can't share my secrets with other business owners. I would say that's a big misconception. I found one of the biggest benefits that my wife's a CPA too, and she was a founder of our firm along with me, Jen Dawson, love her to death.
Okay.
And we found peer groups. So we early on in our careers associated ourselves through the AICPA with other CPA firm owners, so that we were surrounding ourselves with other business owners and learning, teaching each other, learning from other mistakes, encouraging each other. So that's been a big deal for me. I'd encourage any business owner to find a peer group of other business owners in your same industry and share some knowledge. I think there's a lot to be learned there. Another common misconception, hopefully you can kind of see that coming through, is that you have to be serious as a business owner. I like to be lighthearted. I like to have a sense of humor. I think that kind of breaks down some stressful walls that you might find with the employee-employer relationship. So I like to make sure that we got a little humor. If you got to have fun while you're at work, otherwise you're gonna spend a lot of time with your team, and your clients spend a lot of time at work. So have fun while you're doing it. So I think there might be a little
Yeah.
misconception that you got to be serious all the time. Let's lighten up. Let's have a good time. Business will follow.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Awesome. Okay. What do you attribute your growth to? I've been waiting for this question.
Well, kind of leading up to it, I mean, obviously, you've got to surround yourself with a great team. I've always heard and I've always said and believed, if I can surround myself with people that are smarter than me, then it's going to make me look really good. I'm also going to have an amazing team to lead, just, really trying to focus on how do we get the best of the best to be at Opsahl Dawson, and then that'll start attracting other great people too, because they want to be part of that culture. Our growth, for me personally, I like to say, get ahead, stay ahead. It's kind of a mantra that I like to go by. Along the way, I've had to work hard, but I always wanted to make sure the next day I had an available schedule to deal with whatever is going to come up the next day. So I always try to end the day with all my emails finished. I like to try to have, I'm an inbox zero guy, so I like to get my inbox down to zero, answer all my emails, try to set the stage before I went to bed that night that I was as caught up as I could be for tomorrow, because I wanted to be prepared for all the curveballs that tomorrow would bring. So I'd say I like that, get ahead, stay ahead, and try to see what, as an owner, how you can stay ahead of the game. Uniform process is another big one. We were able to scale different firms, different locations, growing quickly if we had uniform processes and procedures. So we put a lot of effort into making sure that we were very detailed about that. And when people would be hired in and come to our firm, they'd all bring different ideas, and that's great. But we all agreed early on that we're going to do things one way. We're going to do things the Opsahl Dawson way, and we're going to have input and influence in those. But if we're all doing things separately, we're all doing things a different way, it's really hard to scale your business. So we've all committed to a very uniform process. We call it doing it the one firm way.
Love it. Ready for tomorrow in uniform process. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Great insight. Okay. How do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
Well, I got 3 points, Ted, that I'd like to point out there. Try to think of these answers, give you guys as much insight as I can. Of course, there's like 20 things that you can do to kind of help balance your work-life balance. But I guess just touching base on that get ahead, stay ahead comment that I made earlier. Being a business owner is busy. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot that you've got to accomplish each day, and there's a lot that you got to stay ahead of. But I found that if I was prepared every night for the next day, I had a smoother day. And so I've traded a little bit of my evening TV time. I've got 3 young daughters, three teenage girls. And when they sit down to do their homework at night, I do a little homework myself. So I plug into the computer, I make sure that I stay caught up on emails, touch up any projects that I didn't get done during the day, and just make sure when I rise tomorrow that I'm in a good place to combat the next day. I talked about making work fun, so I'm going to come back to that. Work-life balance. I mean, if you can make work feel like life, then it feels like you got a pretty good work-life balance. We've had good success with growth, and we've had good success with our employees and our leaders enjoying their time at work by really getting involved in the community in your networking groups. So you try to blend the tasks that you're doing that your firm needs with things that you enjoy. And for me, it was business development, finding new clients, finding other great employees. And so I attend a lot of networking groups. I try to be really involved in the CPA community. And to me, that's fun. So I've blended work with life. So it makes it feel like there's not such a sharp difference, which I've really enjoyed. And my one final point that I'd make there, and I make this to young parents, work is busy. It's got a lot of demands on professionals, especially these days where you're always plugged in. I have enjoyed, and I tell young parents, coach your kids. Coach your kids in sports. When you got young kids, sign up to be the coach for their soccer team, the rec team, baseball, basketball, t-ball. Because Ted, if you're signed up to be the coach, number one, there's a little bit of work involved because you're networking with the community. You're networking with the sports parents. You're actually out there. So it kind of is work. But the life balance part of what that's done for me is being the coach is it's allowed me to completely shut off work, and I am there for the kids every single practice, every single game, because you have to be. Sometimes you sacrifice things in your life because you've got an important work meeting come up. If you're the coach of a little league soccer club, rec soccer club, you have to show up. I don't care how important your client is, you have to show up at that soccer field. Otherwise, you're going to have, 10 6-year-olds running around with no coach. It cannot happen. So for me, I made a commitment to always coach my kids in sports. And I think it's been a great relationship builder for me and the kids. They see me as a coach now at home, a little less as a parent. But for the work-life balance, it made sure I was 100% committed to my family. I could not miss that game and I could not miss that practice. So I really try to encourage people to get involved in their kids' life. And that coaching has been a big deal for us. So
Wow, love that. Love that. I love the line blend work with life. That's good. That's excellent. Excellent. Okay, well, we're sailing along here. Let's see. We've kind of already touched on this, but what qualities do you look for in employees, and how do you foster a positive and productive work environment?
yeah, I mean, we're looking for people that want to be part of a team. I mean, they've got to be willing to be open-minded. It's kind of hard when you bring an employee that wants to join your team if their glass is already full. They already know all the answers. If they've already kind of got the way they want to do things, and they're already trained and not open to new ideas. I mean, that's going to be a challenging fit. We've already talked about how we're going to do things one way.
Right.
Opsahl Dawson's one firm. That's kind of what we say. So we look for aptitude. I look for good communicators. I look for people with confidence. When people hire a CPA in our industry, we're operating as the most trusted advisor. You got to be able to show up,
Yeah.
good communicator. You got to show up with confident. And I tell people, if you don't know all the answers, none of us do. The tax code is something you could use on a ladder to probably change the light bulb of the Statute of Liberty. So it keeps
Right.
getting taller, but it's all right to say I don't know the answer, but I'll get back to you. So I find self-starters, people that can do research, somebody that can get to the final answer, but that is common sense, street smarts, confident, but also humble. Like I said, if their glass is already full and they already know everything, it's going to be kind of tough to fit into our team. So we like a team player. It's going to be a good human and open to ideas and open to change and open to being part of the team. So,
Yeah. Are just a little follow up on that. Are you able to, during your interview process, are you able to kind of determine who is going to be a fit as far as being willing to buy into your processes and do it your way? Are you able to do that pretty well, or?
well, you do as best you can. I mean, generally you get an hour with an interview with somebody, and years ago I would hand interview everybody because our culture was so important, and I thought that I felt like I had a pretty good knack for connecting with people and identifying who I thought would be the best fit for us. And so I'd interview them myself. As the firm got bigger now, we actually have professional recruiters, and we've got a pretty powerful backing recruiters that help with our firm. So they've got a lot of great detailed questions that they can ask them. But that's the tough part, Ted. You never really know, because people can put on great answers for an hour, and then you
Yeah.
start learning, months down the road that
Yeah.
maybe they're not living up to them. So there's a saying, slow to hire, quick to fire. I just think that's a little got a negative tone to it, but we try to give everybody the best chance that they can. We try to identify their qualities up front. But we also try to pay attention. We do a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day kind of review of how people are doing at the firm. And we try to be real honest with ourselves. We try to be real honest with them, because it doesn't do any good to not give people honest feedback. So we try to communicate and, like I said, be upfront and honest with people at how they're doing and coach them along. But if it's something that's not going to work out, we try to identify that early. It's
Okay.
hard to change people, so you got to
It
find
is.
somebody that's going to fit you.
It is. Yeah. And some people interview really well. and then you find out later. So anyway, okay. Boy, only 2 questions left. We're sailing along here. Awesome. What question should I be asking you that I haven't?
Well, I think from a business owner, if your audience are people that might be young business owners or
Mhm.
considering being a business owner, should I do this? Is being a business owner worth it, or should I just stay an employee? Where I can work hard and earn a good living for my family and have good benefits, but maybe I can shut it off when I leave the office. Is being an owner worth it? Aaron, if you look back, would you have done this? And I would say, Ted, absolutely. This has been the best career that I could have ever dreamed of. Being an owner and having success, having a team that is attracted to you as a leader, that looks to you and trusts you as a leader, it's just really fulfilling. Not just from a value and compensation side of things, but just as a person, having people look up to you and knowing that you've lived a good portion of your life being a caretaker and shepherding the next generation of professionals along. I would say it's absolutely made my life fulfilled, and I feel like my cup is full of pride. And I look back and I'm really glad that I decided to take that entrepreneurial step and be a business owner and make decisions myself. So I would say the question that we didn't ask is it worth it? And I'd say absolutely, financially
Absolutely.
and just fulfilling as a person,
Yeah.
as accomplishments. So
Well, I see this a lot with clients is, you don't really necessarily realize the impact you have on other people's lives when you can really build a great business, and how that just projects out into the community and creates wealth for so many people and so many families and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really proud of our junior partners and everybody that we've trained. I mean, most of my partners at work have started with us at interns, and 16 years later, I've got chief growth officers, I've got head of tax departments, I've got chief operating officers. It's just really fun to look and to look back and say these people trusted me and they put a lot of faith and trust in you as a leader. And I self-reflect a lot. You have to look back and say, am I doing everything I could do, can do, and am I doing everything that I said I would do? And I think the biggest form of respect is that your teammates continue to follow you, and I'd say that even in some ways they're leading you now, as
Yeah.
you start to look at your role that changes within the firm.
Right.
As you move from managing partner to CEO, there's a lot of other decisions that get made around you, and you have to be comfortable and proud to know that the team you've built is now taking the wheel. So it's not Jesus taking the wheel. Maybe he did it first, but now it's your teammates taking the wheel. So
Right.
it's just a lot of fun to see the help and all the teamwork that you've built as a team.
Yeah.
So
Very satisfying. Awesome. Okay, last question. Here we go. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And any words of advice for other business owners who are looking to grow their business?
all right. Well, words of advice, I'll start there. So my words of advice is don't be afraid to make a mistake. If you try to do everything perfect every single day, what I found is you're going to get what I call writer's block or decision fatigue, decision block. If you try to make the best decision, I've seen it before, even coming down to like which scanner or printer do I buy for the office? I got to get it perfect. Well, I'll tell you what, if you spend a couple days trying to figure that out and it's a $700 printer, just buy the first one that you think. I mean, make a good decision. Don't just be willy-nilly about it, but make your best decision. But guess what? If it doesn't work out, you can always move that one down to the cubicle area, and they can use it down there. Maybe you need a high production machine that's going to be at the front desk. You can recover from most mistakes or most decisions that didn't go perfect, and you'll learn more about it. I've learned so much by making decisions, and I've always tried to do the best one I could, but I've tried to make swift decisions because not making a decision, having fatigue and decision block is you're not moving anywhere. So, and if people say like, "Oh, you made a lot of mistakes," look at you, you're always making mistakes. And I'd say I'd learned twice as much from any mistake I've ever learned than making the right decision. You make a mistake, now you know what not to do, and normally like what I should do. So both ends of the spectrum. If you make a decision that was right every time, you know what works, but you don't know necessarily what didn't work or maybe what might have been better. So, I tell people one piece of advice is feel free to make some mistakes along the way. Just you'll recover from them. You'll
Yeah.
learn a lot from them. Where do I see myself, Ted? In 5 years, I see myself doing the same thing. Surround myself with 9 other family members of CPAs. We all do separate things. My family doesn't work at our firm. We all have separate ones, but I'm enjoying leading a top 20 firm in the nation. I'm part of a group of CPAs called Ascend. It's a group of CPA firms that have banded together, but I'm enjoying being CEO and having the support of my team, and I'm gonna stay with it. The community needs good CPAs. We enjoy the calling to be the most trusted advisor. So you'll find me right here at Opsahl Dawson, hopefully, if they'll have me continuing to lead. So
There you go. Yeah. Oh, awesome. I love that what you said about decision fatigue and just not making a decision can be a bigger mistake. I think that's what you were conveying there. So yeah.
yeah, and one other thing that I say, a lot of people say, if it's not broke, don't break it, Aaron. It's working. Things are working here. And I say, well, maybe they're working today. Most likely they were working yesterday. But my saying is, if it's not broke, then let's break it. We should break it. We should understand how this mechanism works. We should understand how this process procedure works, and we should make it better. So if it's not broke, then break it, study it, understand it more, and see if there's a better way to do it. So if you're not changing, and you're staying the status quo, then something's going to change around you and you're going to get lapped. So, and I like growing too. So I say, if you're not green and growing, you're ripe and rotten. So let's keep growing our businesses so that we can make room for the next generation to lead. And growth is fun anyways. It creates a lot of benefits. So I would just keep encouraging people to stay growth minded and have some fun. Keep hitting new milestones. It's something to celebrate.
Love that. Love that. If it's not broken, then break it and make it better. I
That's
love it.
right.
I
Tear it
love
apart.
it.
See
That's
how it works. You don't have to smash it and
yeah.
destroy it, but you can take the screws out of it, just study the process, study the procedures, and see, why are we doing this? Is
Right.
this still the best way to do it, or should we brainstorm a better way to do it? And we've always found, every time we did that, we found, you know what, let's try something different. I think we ought to try something different. But the theory of not changing is a terrible idea. The world's going to change around you, and you're going to end up obsolete. So you got to keep up, you got to keep changing, and you got to accept change. So
Yeah. That's really good. Really good. Love it. Okay. Okay. Well, that's all the formal question. Do you have any last bit of advice?
I got advice. I got advice. So Ted, we talked a little about golf. We kind of
Yeah,
started there. Are you a golfer, my friend?
I
Are
am a
you
golfer. I
you
am a
enjoy the
golfer.
game? It's a hard game, right? It's
It
kind of
is
takes
a
a little
hard
bit of
game.
studying.
Yes.
So I've got two pieces of advice from you. You follow these two very simple pieces of advice. I'm not going to charge you anything for this advice. This
All
is free
right.
advice here. So if you accomplish these two things, I'd like you to work on, your golf game's going to be, you're going to be under par. You're going to be right there with the pros. So you work on distance and direction. Once you accomplish those two things perfectly, your golf game's going to be perfect. So just I want you to focus on those two things next time you go out and play. Just perfect distance and direction.
Yes. The perfect part is the hard part, right? That's what goes on, right? Easier said than done. Easier said than done. But yes. Well, thank you for that advice. And thank you for your interview today. Great job. And really, really awesome insights. Aaron Dawson, CEO and President of Opsahl Dawson. Thank you so much for being on our Business Spotlight podcast.
Thanks for having me, Ted. Thanks for letting me hang.